Hello, welcome everybody. Welcome to the Robinson Morning Vlog. So today the topic is going to be managing sibling conflict between our boys or between kids in general. I want you to go first since you're a man and they're boys. How do you handle when they fight or when they argue or the conflict? Because they fight and they argue a lot, let me tell you. It's always a fight. Well, not so much as a fight, but it's always an argument.
It's definitely an argument. The way I handle it is I try to let them solve it first before I have to intervene. So I'll give them a few chances before I have to step in.
Yeah.
But the majority of the time, well, you have to see what's taking place, right? Like, so normally, like, the reason why they're arguing is probably over a game or something. Or
a ball or something.
Something like that.
And we have 1,000 balls in the house. Granted, we're a sports family, so it's 1,003 balls, and they both want to play with the same one. This is typically what the argument is about. They both want the same toy or the same ball or something of that nature, and an argument breaks out. Trey is yelling. Carson doesn't back down, so then it's a bunch of yelling. And then we just say, go sit down. Put it down. Go sit down. Now nobody can play with it. You can't figure it out. That nobody can play with it.
And so, like, I do believe because they argue a lot, it's age difference has to do with it too.
Yeah.
Trey's 4 years older than Trey's
4 years older than Carson. Yeah.
And
because me and my brother didn't argue like that. Granted, I'm a girl, he a boy, but me and my brother are 2 years apart. And we didn't argue at all. But then you said you and your brother argued a lot. And they're a year and a half apart.
Yeah. So I don't know. But the majority of it, I think, is just like what they're doing at that particular time.
Yeah.
Now, they also fight over, like, and the reason why I say, like, it might be an age difference because normally, like, when they're on the game or something like Roblox.
Oh, yeah, Carson gets pissed off because Trey's winning or he can't figure it out.
He can't figure it out. And so, like, that's where I think the age difference come in because Trey understands the game a little bit better than Carson. And Carson's trying to keep up, but Carson gets frustrated easily as well. So
I do, though, instill that, which my mom instilled in me and my brother, that, right, your siblings. And Trey hates when I say this, though. When I leave this earth, it's just you and your brother, right? And then the families you guys create. But it's just you and him. And so you guys have to, you know what I mean, be able to get along so that you guys can support each other and look after each other when I'm no longer here. So I don't allow them to be mean to each other. I don't really allow the fighting. I let them argue a little. You know, it's good sport to let them argue. So when they go out in the real world, they'll know how to, like, handle themselves. But for the most part, I don't allow the fighting. I don't allow, them being mean because they are siblings. And it is true that when me and Barry leave this world, it's just them and the families they create. And so I do want them to have a close bond, so they look after each other and take care of each other. One thing I will say, though, is even no matter how much they argue, no matter how much they bicker or fight, they look after each other. Like, Trey not gonna let nobody do nothing to Carson, and Carson not gonna let nobody do nothing to Trey. And Carson has really bad allergies, and so Barry, look after him as far as that. And he makes sure, like, nope, my brother can't have that, or hold on, let me call my mom. Like, if they're out somewhere with their Gigi or my sister or something, he like, nope, let me call my mama, or Carson can't have that. Like, don't get it to him. He's, like, real protective over him when it comes to other people.
Yeah, and they will, like, lie for each other too.
It's more so Carson. Trey ain't quite got it down yet, but Carson won't so much lie, but he won't tell the truth either. He just gonna say he don't know. Like, if I say who broke that or who did that, he gonna say I didn't do it, and I'm like, well, did Trey do it? He like, I don't know, I didn't see it, I don't know who did it. And they both could be sitting in the room together, and Carson and Trey will just look like a deer in headlights. Like, that's how I know Trey lying. He looks like a deer in headlights. Like, he just won't answer at all. But yeah, we are raising them to be close. We don't really have a lot of conflict in our house. As far as the boys, they do argue over little small stuff, but nothing major. But a suggestion I would have is if your kids are fighting and arguing a lot, see what the root cause of the problem is. Because a lot of times it's not really what they're arguing and fighting about. It's something bigger, right? Like it's something else, especially like if you have two kids that are really, really going at it. I'd say figure out what the root cause of the problem is, because it may be something bigger where it's a little bit of jealousy, or they feel like maybe the other sibling, doesn't get in trouble as much as them, something along those lines. So I would just say dig deeper
Trey
into
does feel that way sometimes, like, or he'll think because Carson's doing something, and then when we yell at him about it, he'll be like, well, Carson's did it, or Carson's doing it.
The thing we're working on with Trey is,
and Trey knows better, so he does that to
manipulate you.
Yeah, to like prove a point. Like, well, you didn't say nothing to him. So.
Yeah. And my thing is with Trey, we're trying to teach him how to mind his business, right? And just focus on himself and don't worry about what everybody else around you is doing, because the world isn't fair. And just because one person is doing it doesn't necessarily mean you'll get to do it, because you'll be the person that get caught doing it. So we are trying to teach him how to just worry about himself, one, and that the world isn't fair. So he is older, so some things that Carson is allowed to do, he's not going to be able to do. And vice versa, like Trey has to brush his teeth at night. That's a big one that, is a huge ordeal, because Carson, even though Carson does brush his teeth most nights, I don't really push the issue with Carson as much as I push it with Trey. And I'm like, he's 4. At 4, you weren't brushing your teeth at night. You're 8. You're becoming older. You got to brush your teeth more. The deodorant thing is a big one too. Trey wears vegan deodorant, so no chemicals, nothing like that, just all natural. But it's a big deal for him. It used to be a big deal for him that he had to wear it and Carson didn't. So yeah, I just say just look into the deeper issues. That would be my suggestion, and to stop all conflict. So drop it in the comments. What do you guys do to resolve sibling conflict?
Or how do you guys manage sibling conflict? We would like to know in the comments.
Thank you for riding with us this morning and listening to us. We'll see you tomorrow. Peace.